Let's bring in Republican strategist and MSNBC political analyst Susan Del Percio and Democratic strategist Basil Smikle. So, Susan, here's more of our NBC News reporting about the thinking inside the DeSantis campaign right now. Quote, at best, DeSantis is in full-on survival mode. At worst, he's living in fantasy land. His team is rallying around the idea that he still has a path to the nomination if he can get into an extended one-on-one fight with Trump across the country. So I guess the hope is that he comes out of New Hampshire and South Carolina, at least holding on, but that Nikki Haley is defeated and that would wipe her out. And now it's a mano a mano. Does that make sense?
No, because even if Nikki Haley is wiped out, let's just say South Carolina, she comes in third. It doesn't mean DeSantis has won anything. You have to win states to get the nomination. And frankly, DeSantis has another big problem, and that's campaign money. He went through a lot of cash. His super PAC those donors are hesitant. He's not raising money at the same clip. And why would people want to support him now? The path is clear that it will be Donald Trump unless something just that we can't plan for happens. But they are right about Nikki Haley having not to have to win. If she doesn't win New Hampshire, she's also knocked out. It does nothing for Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is done. And frankly, if his advisors were worried about him and his future, they tell him to step out now, because if he runs again, all they're going to say next time is he lost in Iowa, he lost in New Hampshire, he lost in South Carolina, he lost in Nevada. So better not to just be a loser and just say it wasn't my time.
Yep.
You agree?
No, absolutely right. There's a strategy for coming out, how to make that exit, and how to, as they say in sports, give yourself an opportunity for future considerations, right? So
is that what his advisors, you think, are telling him right
well,
now?
I don't know if they're telling him that. What they're clearly telling him is be more relatable. Maybe that was advice they could have given him a year ago. Instead of trying, as Dasha was talking about, instead of trying to be the anti-woke candidate to the right of Donald Trump, because if you're going to go to the right of Donald Trump, why not just vote for Donald Trump? But I think on the Nikki Haley piece, what's interesting is that Donald Trump consolidated evangelicals behind him, which he didn't have in 2016. South Carolina has a lot of evangelical vote. They're a more conservative vote than Nikki Haley's trying to be in this race. And so what's interesting to me is, will she lose her home state?
Yeah, and where she was governor.
Where she was governor. And so I do think North Carolina, New Hampshire is her last stand. I think she has a better opportunity there because of the independent voters that are more gravitating more toward her. But I just don't see where Donald Trump doesn't win this.
Oh, I agree with you. But I also think if she wins New Hampshire, the Koch network is behind Nikki Haley. Yeah. They can pour tens of millions of dollars in South Carolina. I'm not saying it's enough to get her to where she needs to go, but at least, again, there's somewhat of a very narrow path.
And she would have some momentum at that point.
Exactly.
What do you see as the impact of no more debates, at least not for this next contest?
I think Haley made a great decision. I think that was actually great campaign advice. She's saying, I'm with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not showing up. Why should I? And it elevates her and puts her at that stand.
And remember, too, it's a delegate race. So there's going to come a point in time where the distance between what Donald Trump has and what these other candidates have, it can't be made up anywhere as we go into Super Tuesday. And so that is part of the calculation, particularly for those large donors, because every candidate has to make that case to them to say, I have a path. But once that path really starts to narrow because you can't make up the difference, you got to step out at some point.
Trump is still lobbying attacks, of course, at his opponents after initially saying, let's all come together after he won Iowa. And now he's referring to Nikki Haley by her formal first name, which is Nimrata. Yeah. I mean, that seems pretty obvious what he's trying to do, no?
Yeah, he did it for Barack Obama in talking about this Kenyan running for office and the birtherism. He believes it worked for him then. He's going to try it now. He's already done it when he talked about her heritage and her ability to, and perhaps her inability to run for president because of her Indian heritage. Now, having said that, it puts Nikki Haley in a tough position because she has downplayed her background consistently. She couldn't even say the word slavery, and she just said America was not a racist country.
Right, which we have sound of. Let's play it.
Are you a racist party? Are you involved in a racist party?
No.
we're not a racist country, Brian. We've never been a racist country. Our goal is to make sure that today is better than yesterday. Are we perfect? No. But our goal is to always make sure we try and be more perfect every day that we can.
Right.
And so, I mean, this was after she got a lot of blowback following her comments about the Civil War, where she just admitted that slavery was behind it. She must think this works for her, though.
Well, actually, if she really wanted to make a difference in her campaign, she'd come out hard on Donald Trump on this. She would say, I'm proud of my full name. Here it is, Donald Trump. That's what concerns you? Well, I believe, and lay out a stronger policy. Lay out an immigration policy. Do something with it. But just to sit there and ignore it, it seems like actually a lost opportunity for Haley.
Yeah,
Thank you both.
Put her in a really tough position. It'll be interesting to see how she comes back.